to you said you're aiming like to the professional level. Would that be Korisliiga or something else?
If I stayed in Finland, yes, it would be Korisliiga. I haven't really thought of myself outside of Finland just because of, having a career of playing in a lot of different places, and finally, now that I'm like having a career still in basketball but on the coaching side, I would particularly not like to jump from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
So generally it would probably start there in the chorus league. Of course, I would want to take it to the best levels the world can offer. I've reached that playing, so I would want to get there again as coaching. So just looking step by step, which is the best situation for the time, but eventually, yes, some high level, possibly outside of the chorus league, but to begin there would be nice, yes.
Yeah, okay. What is the Division 2 team you're coaching now?
Pantere.
Pantere.
Yeah, it's second,
Okay.
yeah.
How about, we talked about like professional basketball in Finland, but how about the junior level? How do you see the state of like Finnish basketball coaching in terms of junior basketball?
I think it's getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot more passionate coaches, young coaches, older coaches who are revitalizing their knowledge of basketball. I think the Federation is doing a pretty good job to start to bring in outside coaches, start to bring domestic coaches together more for these clinics, and there's a lot more access to what they're doing and the knowledge. So I think that's helping a lot.
How would you describe like the strengths of like
the youth coaches?
Yeah.
One of the strengths is actually being there. I mean, it takes a lot to deal with some of these club situations. I know for years I was coaching, on most days every week, 30 boys, 33 boys by myself.
Yeah.
So the passion and strength is there. I see a lot of these guys week in and week out across as a competitive coach and also as a referee. So I get to watch from different point of views, and I see a great deal of focus there. I mean, I think everybody's going out and doing a good job and giving the best knowledge that they have. I don't really see any bad situations where, kids are getting screamed at or kids are crying and not having a good time. So I think overall the coaches are doing pretty well to adapt to having a multitude of kids, because there are more kids joining clubs throughout Helsinki as I see it. And they're at these educations, they're learning, the communication is there. After games, you might see coaches are talking. I think it's going in a good direction, actually. I think it really is.
Are there like special weaknesses that should be fixed?
Weaknesses within the coaching. Well, this is opinion, so I don't know if it's correcting or not, but this is an overall assessment of basketball, the elevation of kids' movement, the physical awareness, the skill, is that there are some situations where coaches need to adjust that more kids are involved in the game itself, involved with the ball more. And this is from my assessment of games. I don't see their particular practices. So, of course, the two could vary, and then what I'm saying might have a little bit less relevance. But that the ball is spread around more, that more kids get to utilize and experience the chance of failure to gain success. Also, I think the strategy offensively should meet a little bit more skill set challenges, i.e. letting the kids just kind of play free versus giving them some movement structure should be increased at a small level, just so that the total understanding of the game can be faster and it can move everything forward. And I say this based on watching 5th Division men's, 4th Division, 3rd Division as a referee to see the level of skill, and all the way up from C juniors, B juniors, the same thing. So I think it would progress that more. Other than that, you know, if you come with the heart, the passion, the care to teach, and the willingness to have patience to understand that it's a slow process with youth kids, I think all the coaches are doing right. And everything else is kind of opinion of how to learn them or what to learn them. Okay, there's some basic things. Learn to dribble, learn to pass, you know, but once you go beyond that, I think when you have those general characteristics that I explained, most coaches are doing a great job. Yeah.
And if you compare your coaching that you got when you were a kid in the States and, and the coaching here, how does it differ?
Well, the coaches in the States had a lot more power. One, they had more power, just what they could say to you, because they knew they had the backing of, hey, you're one of a particular set of 12 to 15 kids. That's it. And you cherish that opportunity. You know, it's this pay to play or this kind of club basketball is much different. It was kind of non-existent, and it was non-irrelevant. You wanted to be one of 12, one of 15. So the coach had power. He could dictate whatever. If practice was 1 hour and a half, he wasn't happy, we go another hour. Period. You don't call your mom, nobody's crying, there's none of that. The parents are not gonna complain too much because they're happy you're one of 12 or 15. So in that sense, you know, much different. Yeah, a coach might curse you out. Literally, you know, you might get pushed or kind of shoved in a certain way, or I don't know. The punishment seemed a lot stiffer.
How?
I remember one time in high school we had lost a game, and I don't remember what happened in the game and why we lost, but the coach wasn't happy. So we came back after the bus ride, and we practiced at night another hour. And it was like, it didn't matter what your mom or dad said, they were going to sit in the parking lot and wait 1 hour. If you wanted to be on this team, that was what you have to do, period. I mean, in college, I've seen guys not play one game, told to quit another sport, you stay with basketball, and didn't play 1 second. You know, I mean, there's some harsh things, and I'm sure these things happen all throughout basketball or at some level, but kind of what I remember is the coaches had a lot more power. Yeah. Period.
And the reason is because it's in high school or in college, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're asked to leave, like you're done. Here, it's like the kid is paying to be there, and of course you need that support to keep the gym and things like that. And if you lose players, then it's a lot different. You kind of nurture you're servicing. So there, you want to be serviced.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your invitation could be pulled, so to speak. And that little ticket, you know, to the chocolate factory is very valuable. You know what I mean? So in that sense, it's like the Holy Grail. Yeah.
Now that you're coaching here, do you have like a vision for a Finnish basketball, or like how do you want to develop it?
Well, I just want to increase the overall awareness to basketball. It struck me as very odd. I believe in Jyväskylä, and at one point talking to the club people about, you know, getting people in the seats. And most people didn't even know there was a team. Same thing in Porvoo, small town. You look at okay, basketball is for youth. You got a lot of young players. Easiest way to try to get interest is probably the younger people. And at the university, which was not even 1.5 kilometers from the gym where they played the games, most people that I asked had no idea there was a team. So just to bring the overall awareness up, which will help skills come up, it'll help salaries get more. Instead of one player in the NBA, we'll have 2 or 3 from Finland at the same time. And basically just give what I know so that the player can experience it sooner than I have to have success or possibility of success greater and sooner than what I had. That's it. I mean, I do it for the game. I mean, that's it. You can't cheat the game. That's kind of how I look at it. So,
Yeah.